Okay, so today, well, yesterday you guys learned about IQR if you followed the directions and did what you were supposed to. IQR is essentially finding the median of the median, if you think about it that way. You find your minimum, your maximum, then you find your median in the middle, and then what do you do from there? If you don't know, get your notes out. What do you do from there? Callie. Right. So you're essentially finding the lower median. So your median is in the middle. So you're finding the median for the lower half, and then you find the median for the upper half. So really it's just finding a median and a median. Now, the reason you have to know IQR is essentially because when you do a box plot, those numbers are your Q1, your Q3, your minimum, maximum, and your median. And that's what we're going to go over today. Give me a thumbs up when you are ready. All right. Gotta set that part off. And then we're gonna get started with this portion. All right, so if you had to guess, what is this number representing? If you had to guess. And don't tell me the value. Tell me what you think it would be called. Based off of the 5 things that just came out of my mouth about medians, Q1, Q3, minimum, maximum. What do you think that the first number in our box plot is? This is your minimum. Why is your minimum not 0? Why is it not 0, Ben?
Because 0 isn't a value.
Because why?
Because 0 is not a value.
Right. Like 0 is not, I mean, it's a value, but it's not a value on our box plot, right? You're going to see number lines underneath your box plot because that obviously tells you where your numbers come from. And you might see numbers that are further down, but your minimum is wherever the beginning of your box plot starts. Okay, does that make sense? So then, what do we think? Someone give me another name for the remaining 4. So we've used minimum. So you have maximum, median, Q1, Q3. So someone just give me another one. Bryson. 100 or 99. So 99 is our maximum. Okay? So we've got our minimum and our maximum done. All right, what else? Give me another one. So you have 3 left. Alex. 82 is our median. And then we have 2 left. Okay, so this is Q1 or your first quartile. Okay, you're going to hear those 2 interchangeable. All right, and then obviously what is our only blank left? Not Q2, but, huh? Yeah. So Q3 or your third quartile. Now, technically with a box plot, you're essentially breaking up your numbers into 4s. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4. This is technically your fourth quartile, this is your second quartile, if you wanted to have different names for your median and your maximum. But you will see it like this more than you'll see it with Q2 and Q4, okay? All right, so words to know. The minimum is the blank number. Isabella?
The
Smallest number. All right, the maximum is the blank number. Yeah, this is the easy stuff. Savannah?
largest.
Largest. All right, your lower quartile, and I'll go ahead and help you with this. The blank of the blank half of the data set. So if we're looking at our lower quartile, it's all the numbers from the median down. Okay, that's what it's talking about. This is the lower quartile. So you can say either the median / middle of the first half of the data set. Does that make sense? Does that make sense to you guys? So whether you call this your median or the middle, because you're gonna be like, but Miss Kenny, that doesn't look even. Well, we don't know what all the other numbers are in our data set. This might be the middle, even though it looks like our box is bigger. Does that make sense? All right, so then the upper quartile, what do you think? Based off of what we wrote for the lower quartile, what do you think about the upper quartile, Joe?
The median of the second half of the data set.
Mm-hmm. And that is from your median up. All right, and then the measure of variability is the number used to describe how spread out the values of the data are. And for example, what shows us a spread of our data? We learned mean, median, mode, range. Which one is going to show us the spread of our data? Think about what mean and median mean. Think about what mode means. Think about what range means. Bryson? Range, because it's essentially you're taking the largest number, subtracting the smallest number, and you're determining how far apart that is. So an example of this would be range. Hence the interquartile range. So IQR, that's what we call interquartile range, are the numbers that you use for your box plot. So your box plot is your visual, just like you know how we collected data of frequency and then we charted it in histograms. Same thing. We collected data for dot plots and then we used the dot plots to have a visual for our data. So a box plot is the visual for your IQR. All right, the way that you create a box plot is you find the median. And then essentially you split the data in 2 halves at the median. All right, so keep these notes out. so we are going to do some practice. And essentially, this is the 5-number summary, and then goes along with our box plots notes. Box plot notes. All right, so it says, given the following set of data, determine the minimum, maximum, and the median. All right, so we're going to go ahead and do that. What's the very first thing we need to look for to make sure before we get started, though, with our data set? What does it have to be? Gabby? Right, so it has to be in order from least to greatest. So looking at our number, give me a thumbs up if you feel like, yep, it's in order least to greatest. Look at your numbers. You should not be writing. I didn't tell anybody to write anything. Ramon, get your pencil off your paper, son. Listen to what I'm saying. You're not following along. What did I just ask? What did I just ask? Why are you putting your thumb up?
But I don't know if we think that's already in order.
So then why is your pencil on your paper?
To make sure. I wasn't writing.
Step outside. All right, so yes, our numbers have been put in order for us, so therefore we don't have to worry about doing that. Now, what is our minimum? These are really easy. What is our minimum? What do you have to find? Sophia? Right, so which one is our smallest number? 5. All right, we're going to then find the maximum. What is the maximum number? How do we figure this out? Andrew? Right, so we got to find the biggest number, which is 97. Now, we have to find the median. So you guys refresh me. I know it's been spring break. I know it's been, I feel like I haven't been here for like years. So please tell me how to find the median. Isabella?
So you take each one plus, so you plus 5, and you plus 97, and you plus 14, 82, just out both sides, and then you get 2 numbers, so you add 46 and 30.
Are you sure you get 2 numbers?
Oh.
And how do you know? And that's fine, because I like that she said, well, you get 2 numbers. She about to tell me all the good stuff, which I'm so grateful for. But how can I check to make sure that I have either 1 number or 2 numbers? What's a way to check your numbers?
By looking at the first side and counting the numbers on that side, and then looking at the other side and counting on that side.
Right, so essentially we should have crossed off 5 numbers here, right? So if I cross off 5 numbers here, I know that there's only 1 number in the middle. But if I cross off 4 numbers and then 5 numbers, I've realized, okay, I'm going to end up with 2 numbers in the middle. So definitely always check that. Continue what you were saying though, if we had 2 numbers in the middle.
If you had 2 numbers, you would add them together and then divide by 2.
Yep. So if we had 2 numbers in the middle, we'd add them together, divide by 2. We don't though. So our median is what number? What is our median? Elizabeth? 33. All right, so we've kind of done the easy part so far, right? Gracie, come and get your work, please. So we've kind of done the easy part. Now, the next part says, let's divide the data, or let the data be divided into half by the median. The data which is less than the median is the first half of the data, and the data which is more than the median is the second half of the data. All right, so list the first half of the data. So please just tell me the first numbers that we cross off. Do we include our median? No, you do not include the median because that is your middle. You're not going to include that number. All right, so what are the first 5 numbers?
5, 14, 16, 17, and 83.
Okay, then it says the median of the first half of the data. So essentially I'm just going to cross off, cross off, cross off, cross off, and I get 16. So 16 is my median of the first half of the data, and this is our first quartile, or our Q1. Does that make sense? Because essentially up here, if I circle this one, that is my median of the first half. Alright, so now list the second half of the data for me. List the second half. Mario,
46, 70, 72, 82, 97.
alright, and then it says the median, the second half of the data, so we're gonna do the same thing. Cross off until we get to the middle, which is 72, and this is known as our third quartile or our Q3. So if you move back up to your data and you essentially circle your Q1, your median, and your Q3, it should all be even, shouldn't it? So your numbers should be even. So essentially there's two numbers in between each one of our medians. I mean, it should be very even in your data. So if you found your 5-number summary essentially and you have it in your data set and you're like, this looks a little bit to one side or a little bit to the other side, you've done something wrong. It should be even across the top. All right, so down here then, you're going to give me the numbers that we just found. So 3 of them we did, and then 2 of them we had to do a little bit of work, and we did those. So what is our minimum? What's our minimum? Alex? Five. What is our Q1, or first quartile? Addie? 16. What is our median? Andrew? 33. What is our third quartile, or our Q3? 72. And then what is our maximum? Kira? 97. This is a 5-number summary. We are going to take it one step further, and we're now going to essentially make a box plot using these 5 numbers. Okay? So just draw a number line. Doesn't have to be perfect. What is our first number on our number line going to be? First number on our number line going to be? We know it has to be 5, but look at our range. We have a huge range. We have 92 between the lowest and the highest, right? So how are we gonna number, like how are we going to build the increments? Are we gonna do 92 little tick marks? Not today, tomorrow, or next week, so don't say by ones. All right, what about by 2s? Would that benefit us? No, because that's, instead of 92, we would have what, 46 and a half? Something like that? I'm not drawing 46 tick marks. All right, what about by 5s? Well, what's essentially 90 divided by 5? That's 18. It's not terrible. Looking at our numbers, that could possibly work. What about 10s? 10s we would only have, well, we'd have to start with 0. We'd have to go to 100. You tell me. I would say either 5 or 10. What do you guys want to do? Elizabeth? You gonna do by 5s? All right. So 5. How many tick marks did I say we needed? 18. So that was 90. So we actually need 19. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Give me a thumbs up when you have your number line completed. Okay, so where's our first dot going to go? Where's our first dot gonna go? If we have a 5-number summary, where's the first dot gonna go? Bryson?
At 5.
Yes. So, and just kind of put it above, you don't have to put it like way far, real close, you wanna have enough room to draw your box. Alright? And I actually probably need to go to 100 since our greatest number is 97. Sorry about that. Alright, and this is our minimum, so I'm gonna go ahead and just label so I know what that is. Alright, what is our maximum number? And you'll kinda understand why we do it this way, just cause it's a little bit easier to kinda know where everything's gonna go. Savannah?
100.
Not 100, what is our maximum number in our 5-number summary? What did we write next to the word maximum? Yes. So 97 is going to be somewhere in between 95 and 100. So I'm just going to kind of put it here. I'm going to label that max. All right. What number should we do next then? What do you think we should do next? Addie? The median. So our median is 33, so that's going to fall between our 30 and our 35. This is our median. And I'm going to draw a little line because this is essentially where my box is going to form around. All right, what is our Q1? Our first quartile. Andrew?
60.
All right, so that's going to be real close to 15. This is our Q1. And I'm going to extend my box from Q1 to the median. All right, and then where's our Q3? Where's our Q3? Abby?
72.
72, which is close to 70, but not exact. And this is our Q3. And then I'm gonna draw my line down here. And then I just extend my lines out. So that is how you take a data set, find a 5-number summary, and then make a box plot. Okay? Do not question and say, but Miss Kimmy, the median isn't in the middle. It might not necessarily look like it's in the middle of all of these numbers, but remember, all of these numbers do not make up our data set, does it? Our data set came from this set of numbers here. Okay? Give me a thumbs up when you have this done. Alright, so go ahead, take your notes page and this page and glue it into your notebook. And then in your notebook, turn to the next blank page that you have. And go ahead and label it box plot practice problems. None? For the next part of your assignments today, not at this moment, you are going to be logging into Canvas though, and you're gonna be pulling up the practice problems. So we just did the box plot notes, we did the 5-number summary. You're gonna click on the practice problems on box plots. Now, this has a really good, like, information page at the beginning. So if I were you, I mean, this is just me, I would take a screenshot of the box plot notes right there, just so you have it. Box plots you are going to see on, obviously, the test that we're gonna take next Monday, and you're gonna see a decent amount of them on the EOG. So it's something that you have to know and understand. You are going to then read the scenario, look at the data, and answer 6 questions. Obviously, you were not doing it on here, that's why you are not making a copy of this. This is just a document on there. You're going to be doing this on the page that you just filled out. What's the very first thing, before you even read this, what's the very first thing you notice about your numbers? Andrew?
You're not in least to greatest.
They're not in least to greatest, so that's essentially where you're starting with number 1, right? I mean, it's step by step, tells you exactly what to do. How many of you guys remember how to find IQR? Elizabeth, how do you find IQR? Well, this is what the lesson was yesterday, so I'm really confused as to why everybody didn't raise their hands. So how many of you guys actually did the lesson yesterday and watched the video and went through it, and then did the homework? Interesting. So you weren't here yesterday, that's right. I'm gonna leave you alone then. So raise your hand if you did not actually do the lesson yesterday. Don't play with me, because I'm gonna know, right? Because y'all already told on yourself by the way I asked my questions previously. Did you notice that? So if you didn't do the work from yesterday, or you didn't actually follow the lesson or anything that was posted on Canvas, guess what you have to do first? Because if you don't know IQR, it's gonna be really hard. Guys, I had to be out. This far into the year, my expectations are you're gonna do what I asked. I don't understand why we're still at that point. If you know how to find IQR, you are good to go. You can keep right on moving. It has already done the number line for you, so you're just gonna recopy that onto your notebook page, and then you're going to answer these 6 problems that go with it. Then you have another one. So technically there's only 2 problems, but they have 6 questions per problem. Okay? I was going to allow you to work with partners, but since half of us don't know what IQR is, we're gonna have to go back and redo yesterday's lesson, so I can't let you work with partners today. So therefore, you're working independent. If you do not finish these questions today, it becomes homework. Hopefully you finish them. Go ahead and get started. I'm gonna be calling you guys up by groups. I wanna check your work from yesterday.